what we discussed in the last lecture. Fine. So I think we started with the table space management, right? Let us try to understand about uh, 19 series. Okay, so there is one more question. Sometimes the people are asking in the export import, like let's take an example. I have one schema is there. Okay, and in this schema we have multiple tables are there, like T1, T2, T3. And if I'm taking the schema level backup, it will take the backup of my schema plus all the objects which are available under that schema, U1 plus T1 plus T2 plus T3, right? Like that. So in the last lecture we have seen that how you can take the backup of schema, but sometimes we are in a situation, let's say I want to take the backup of schema, but I want to take the backup of some specific object, like let's say U1 plus T1 plus T2. I don't want to take the backup of T3. So T1 and T2 I want to take the backup. T3 I don't want to take the backup. So in that situation you can use include. So when you are mentioning that you want to take the backup of T1 and T2 in the include, it will automatically skip your T3. And opposite to that, you can also use exclude. If you say that you are going to exclude T3, automatically it is going to include your T1 and T2. I'll give one example. Uh, Let me do one thing. Let me, do we have that status command? Okay, no. So let me take the include command. What is the schema name that we have used yesterday?
U1,
What is that?
U1, U1.
No, it's TBS user, na? Or U1. I don't remember. U1. Okay. So in the U1, how many tables are there? T1 and T2,
T1
right?
and T2.
So we have a U1 user. Under that U1 user, we have T1 and T2 is there. Now when I'm going to run this command, how many table will be backed up? I have mentioned that include table equals to T1. So how many table will be backed up? One or two?
Just
What do you think?
only one, sir. T1.
Only one table will be backed up, because you are saying that anyway you are going to take the backup of U1, but you mention include keyword there. When you are including this, it will automatically exclude your others. This directory, dump file name, log file name, you can mention anything. Press enter /sysdb. Understood the concept now? I'm going little fast now because the things are pretty much I'm getting some error message. What is the problem? What do you think?
The directory where we are going to export is not available. Is invalid.
Hmm? Why it's problem?
Sir, I think you have mentioned the wrong directory name, that's why it's
The
showing.
directory name is correct only. I'm getting this error message because it is trying to find out the test they are under container database. By default, your XPDP will try to find out under container database. But we have created this test there under
Available.
pluggable database. So if I want to check inside the pluggable database, what I need to do? Is it clear? Did we discuss this yesterday? Yes or no? Still I'm
Yes,
getting
sir.
the error message. Why? Export on PDP underscore export PDP underscore SID.
Test table. Do we have anything like test table yesterday?
If we have,
Do you have anything like test table yesterday when you say include test table dot
now still I am not able to understand. What is it?
Okay, I found it. I got it.
Okay.
Sir, can you please explain that part which you have written include equals to table, then colon slash that one.
So I'm including table. Under the schema, you can have table, trigger, procedure, functions, index. So I'm saying that just take the backup of schema and table T1. In means in like we use in, right? So under the schema, just include this T1 table and the rest of the things, whatever it is having, let's say it is having T2 also, T2 table. Ignore that. Now instead of using include, if I'm mentioning exclude, then which table will be backed up?
T2.
The T2.
I will change the damn file name. Which table will be backed up now? I am excluding T1. It means which table is including T2.
T2.
See, currently my scenario is like I have a user 1. Under this user there are two tables are there, T1 and T2. When I'm including this person, automatically it will exclude this. When I'm excluding this person, automatically it will include this. Correct na? I'll give you one example. Let's say under this user I'm having 1000 tables are there. How many? 1000. Out of 1000 I want to take the backup of 990 table. So will I use include or exclude? Out of
Exclude.
1000 table I want to take the backup of 990 table. What I will use? Include or exclude?
Exclude.
I will
Exclude.
use exclude, and in that exclude I will mention that all 10 tables.
10, 10 tables.
So automatically it will include this. You can use include also, but what is the problem? You need to
Type
mention
990.
all that 990
990 tables.
tables. Correct. So based on the situation you need to take the decision whether to go with the include or exclude. All right.
So, sir, before we proceed, I ran into a problem yesterday. Today, after you finished the class, I did the backup for the table and schema, and I dropped the existing one, which I was able to import them back. But when I did the full backup on the database, so this is my question. I didn't take backup for table spaces. So when I do full backup for the database, is the table spaces, are they not supposed to be backed up?
When you take the backup of full databases, you are saying
Yes, sir.
No, see, table space is the collection of data files, right?
Okay.
So let's
Yes,
say if you
sir.
drop the table, just take example, you have taken the full database backup and you drop the table, you drop the database. So when you're importing it, the table space will not be created. You need to create the table space first because the data files will not be created automatically. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
So let's say this is my database. Under that database, you have this table space is there. Under this table space, you have this data file is there. So when you take the backup of table space, when you take the backup of table space or complete database, it will take the logical part only. Logical means only the data, but this physical file needs to be available when you are importing it. So when you are using IMPDP utility, you should already have this table space to be created along with the data files. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Because this data file will not be created by using IMPDP. It will not be created. Only the data will be fitted into that data files. Okay. So make sure you already have a table space available.
Thank you.
Uh, there is something we called it as a, see, when you take the backup of schema table, normally it takes the backup of your metadata plus data by default. When you take the backup of schema or table, it takes the backup of your metadata plus data both. Okay. Certain situations will be there where you want to take the backup of only metadata. So I'll give you one example. Let's say I have this schema is there. Let's say I have one schema is there. Under that schema I have these tables are there which is having some data, and the schema name is u1. If I take the backup of schema, it will take the backup of t1 plus t2 plus t3. But when I'm taking a backup, I have mentioned that content equals to metadata only. Means I want to take the backup of only metadata. Now when I'm importing this dump by using IMPDP, what will happen? Do you think? What will happen if I'm importing this metadata only? What will happen?
Structure of the table will be right.
Structure of table means only u1 user will be created and empty tables will be created. You got my point? Because when you say that you are going to take the backup of metadata, it is not taking the backup of data. It is not taking only metadata. Metadata means only structure. Empty tables will be created. Did you understand, guys? Did you understand? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Back again, please.
See, I'll tell you one example. See, I'm taking the backup of schema now. So by default, it will take the backup of u1 and all the tables which are available inside this table, including their data. Let's say I'm having 1000 records. So 1000 records also will be getting backed up. But if I mention that content equals to metadata only, if I add one parameter there, content equals to metadata only. So what will happen? It will take the backup of only metadata. I'm just changing the log file name and dump file name. Now does it come include your data? Does this include your data? If I run this,
No, sir. Just metadata.
only meta. See, when you can see here on the top 10 rows has been exported, something like that. Can I see that 10 rows has been exported now?
Oh, no.
No, sir.
I will not be able to see that because I am just taking the backup of metadata only. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
What do you see now? What do you see now?
So it's back all the metadata inside that
All the
schema.
metadata only got, can you see? It is taking the backup of user along with their grants, permissions, role, their table metadata, everything. But there is nothing mentioned like 10 rows has been exported, 20 rows has been exported. Similar way, if I mention data only, now what will happen?
Entries into backup.
What will happen now? Will it takes the backup of metadata?
No, sir, it will take only data.
Data. So in which situation we are going to use this data? What do you
When
think?
the when the structure is already there,
When the structure is
then
already available. Structure means, let's say you already have a tables available and you just need to import it. That time you can use it. Can you see here? See here, you can see the schema and many details are there. But you can see here only data is getting backed up. So let's say you have the tables are already created. Okay. And you just need to add the data here because table is already exist now. That time you will use data only. Okay.
Sir,
Is it,
if we are not giving data only, then it will
if you are
back up.
not giving, it will take the backup of metadata plus data both.
Okay.
Okay, so it will create table also and it will insert data also. If you are mentioning only metadata, it will create only table, empty tables. If you are mentioning data, it will insert a data, metadata will not be there. Clear now everyone?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Why am I asking you? Because this is the interview questions people are asking in the interview. Okay, so better you know this. Mm, okay, there is one more parameter which is recently added and people are asking the questions like, I'll give you an example. Let's take an example. My current timing is, let's say by 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. In my table, there were 100 records were there. And by 9:30, in the same table, I am having 200 records. It means from 9 to 9:30, how many records has been inserted? 100 record has been inserted,
100.
right? Now current time, this is my current time. If I'm taking the backup of my table, how many records will be backed up? If I'm taking the expdp command now, tables equals to this table, how many tables, how many records will be backed up?
200.
200
200.
records.
200.
But I don't want to take the backup of my 9:30 table. Means current time I don't want to take the backup. I want to go back by 9 o'clock. So if I'm taking the backup by 9 o'clock, how many records will be backed up?
Only 100
100.
records.
100. So I'm interested for this 100 record. You got my point?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
that time you can use this parameter called flashback parameter you can use. Which parameter? Flashback underscore SCN. I'll give you an example. Say if I check my current SCN number, okay. If I check my, let me come back. Mm, see, I'm checking my current SCN number. This is my current SCN number, correct? Let me do one thing. Select star from u1.t1. How many records are there? 10 records. Let me insert some record. Insert into SN number means my current, this number is getting increased automatically along with the timestamp. So I'm going to insert some data. Insert into table values. Let's I'll mention 3 comma and I'll mention SCN after SCN, something like that. Okay, I'll do commit, and if I'm checking now, how many records will be there? 15 records are there. So earlier record were tens. Now let me check my SCN number. My SCN number is keep changing, continuously increasing. My current SCN number is 983, and here it was 934. So this is my before SCN. So I'll mention here the number of record where here is 10 records, and when we insert it here we have 15 records. And what is the SCN number? If I check, this is my 15 records. Now if I'm taking the backup of table, how many records will be backed up?
15.
How many records will be backed up now?
15 records.
15 records, correct? Now I don't want to take the backup of 15 records. I want to take the backup of 10 records only, which is of few minutes back. You got my point? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So how to take the backup of, I know this SCN number. Okay, now what I will do, I'll do one thing. So I'm going to run the command like, same command I'll mention. Only the thing is I'm going to add one parameter, this flashback underscore SCN. So we have this above command, this one I'll remove. Which SCN number I should mention here if I want 10 records?
Earlier.
Which one?
Earlier.
The earlier one, sir.
Earlier one, correct. Let me add it. This one, right?
Hmm.
Correct. U1 na. I can take table level also. Why to take tables? What is my table name? TABLES. What is my table name? U1 dot T1. How many tables, how many records will be backed up now? 10 or 15?
Our only
10.
10 records.
Only?
10 records.
Let's see. So I have started taking my export, and let me see how many records are getting backed up. So the export job is in progress. It is taking the backup of table. Along with the table, it is taking the backup of table statistics, markers, and I'm very much interested to know that how many records will be backed up. Let's see. So
And what is the table statistics?
I'll discuss in the performance during there. Okay, how many tables, how many records has been backed up? 10.
Only 10 rows.
So it means when you want to go back along with the timestamp, you can do that. Okay, clear now everyone?
Sir, this option is
Yes,
included
sir.
from 19C. What we are
93, correct.
19C.
Now if you want to know the timestamp, SCN timestamp to SCN, you can find out, guys. If you want to know the timestamps to SCN also, you can do that. Okay, like let's say you want to know the timestamp of 15th August. Today's date is not 15. What is my today's date? 10th of March na?
April.
April. It's 2024. What is my current timing? 1844. Let me see. Acha, here 10th of April, I think. Where is the mistake I have done? Hours must be 1 and 12. Hours. Bars. Timestamps to SCN. So it is night 10 o'clock. Check current time in Oracle. April 2024. It's 6:45. 06:45. So I mention 06:45. Uh, Timestamp to SCN. Why it's not running?
So it's date format.
09 April.
Am I making any mistake?
You are putting April the whole instead of only 3 letters. Date,
Date?
3 letters in date. You are putting whole April.
Acha. Timestamp to SCN. Let me check the syntax once.
The year why 4 times. Year format is wrong.
Yeah.
Between date and time, you put colon.
2024. You need to put like that.
Between date and time, you put colon. There is colon.
I think here I have given this extra.
Extra one here. What do you mean? Again?
Sir, year format is YYYY.
Why?
Yes. Syntax is like that. YYY.
Why I have made the mistake here? Yes, interest timestamp. Acha. Okay, let me check my current SCN number. As per the current SCN number, my timestamp is this one. Okay, and if I say select timestamp to SCN, and then I'll mention, I don't know will it work or not. Acha, here I need to specify the like this. Let me see.
So that is format.
Hmm. Syntax issue. So I'll mention 17th April. April means 04. Why it is 2019? Acha, my timestamp itself is wrong. My server issue. Acha. 2019. Then it's 2:36. 36. 2:36. 36. I mentioned 0.
Sir, we need to put 2024 instead of 2019.
2000.
So I think the year of timestamp saying 2019. Does it matter?
Timestamp is CIS to timestamp. Hours, minute, second. एक तो ब्लॉग में गलत लिखा होगा या तो मैं कुछ करता वाई आपको तो रेट बोल रहा था कन्वेंशन 17 अप्रैल सिलेक्ट टाइम डी डी when it is saying timestamps to SCL now. Why 24 wait second. No snapshot on based on the specified. Acha. April 2024. 9 April 2024. 9 April 2024. 064550. 064550. Fine, it's done now. So what I did, first of all, I checked my current. First of all, I checked my current timestamp. What is my current time as per my database? When I checked my current time, so I can see the today's date is 9th of April 2024 and this is 6:56. So I want to know the timestamp. I want to know the SCN number of this timestamp. So I have mentioned that number here, but you need to mention into this format DDMMYYY, and it will be in hours, which is in 24 hours. So when I mention this, I got to know this is my timestamp of this current time. So you can convert your timestamp to SCN, and if you already have a SCN number, you can convert it to the timestamp. Both the way it is possible. So we have SCN to timestamp, and vice versa, timestamp to SCN also you can get to know. Okay. So if you think that okay, by 9 o'clock I want to restore my backup, so you can take the backup till 9 o'clock also. That is also possible. Okay. Clear, everyone? Some of the entry questions will be there, which I want to tell you. Let's talk about the remap. What is remap? Um, so we have a different type of remap is there. We called it as a remap table space, remap schema is there. Okay, I'll give one example. First, try to understand about remap underscore schema. Let's say you have some let's say this is my production database or production server where my production database is there. Under this we have one pluggable database is there. So you have one user is available here with the name u1. Under that there is a table available with the name t1 table. So you are going to take the backup of this schema. So when you are taking the backup by using the expdp command, you have taken the backup and it has created this u1.dmp file, which is my dump file has been created. And you want to import this dump to your development or test, where also you have this pluggable database is there. Now when you are importing it, generally what will happen, you should already have this u1 schema available here. When you are taking the backup of this t1 table, let's say I'm taking the backup of table t1 table. When I'm taking the backup of this t1 table, where this t1 table will be created, it will be created under the same schema only by default. It means this u1 schema should be already exist over there in my development or test environment. Are you able to understand the scenario?
Yes.
Is it clear or not? You have a current scenario where you want to take the backup of t1 table. and T1 table is owned by U1 user. So normally you are going to run the command like select star from U1.T1. You have taken the backup of this table and this dump file has been created. Let's take an example. The dump file name is T1.tmp. Wherever you are importing it, that U1 user should be already there, and under that U1 user only this T1 table will be created. Did you understand, guys? Say yes, say no, say something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now my scenario is my client is saying that do not import this T1 table under U1. You have one more user is available with the name U2. Under this U2 user you want to import this T1 user. So when you are importing is here, when your import is completed, if you try to do select star from u2.t1, you should be able to get same data. U1 is not exist here. U1 is not there. He is saying that you imported under U2 user. So basically you are changing the schema. Here the schema was U1, here the schema is U2. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So how you can achieve that? By using the remap underscore schema. In the remap schema you are going to mention u1 colon u2. When you are going to run this command, when you are running export or import, when you are going to use this parameter while you
Export.
Import.
While export. While export.
why?
While import.
अरे एक्सपोर्ट के टाइम पे हमको थोड़ी पता रहेगा कि इंपोर्ट किधर करने का है. When you are importing it, that time you are changing the situations na. Are you able to understand? When you are
Yes.
importing it, that time you are changing the schema, not export time. When you are exporting it, that time you don't know that you are going to import it to different schema. When you are importing it, in import command you are going to mention remap schema. Is it clear or not?
Yeah, so while import, it will change the schema, right?
Yes. So you are going to mention remap schema in import command,
That's right.
and the way you were doing export, it was like same only. In export you are not going to change anything. Say yes, say no. Able to understand?
Yes, yes.
This is the interview questions. I'm telling you again. If it is not clear, let me know.
It's clear, sir.
So the
Can
people
you
will
go one
ask
more
the
time on
questions
question?
like, while importing, I want to change the schema owner. I want to change the object owner. How are you going to do that? By using remap schema. So here I was running the command like select star from u1.t1. Here what command I need to write after the import? Select star from
U2.t.
u2.t1.
T1.
Clear? Clear or not?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. Similarly, there is one more scenario is there. Okay. I'm telling you all this scenario because these are the different questions has been asked in the interview. I'll give you one example. The example which I'm giving you, it's similar for other scenario also. Okay. Okay. If I go to the cd slash data slash backup plus -lrt, we have this u1 schema dump is available, right? Or let's take a table dump. Table dump. Where is table dump? Do we have any table dump? I
Just
think
like,
this is a table dump,
but
right? Or let's take a fresh dump. Okay, let me take that. So I'll just take fresh dump. I'll remove these all unnecessary things. Tables equals to direct equals to test dir dump file. What we are trying now? Remap, right? Remap remap underscore schema dump log file log this flashback u1 dot t1. Okay, fine, clear. Which table I'm backing up now? Which table?
T1.
T1.
Which table I'm backing up now? मुंह में आवाज नहीं.
T1.
Which table I'm backing up now?
T1 sir.
T1.
T1.
खाना खा के नहीं आते क्या?
3 बार बताया.
सो के उठे हैं.
फिर आप नाश्ते के लिए नहीं बुलाते ना.
Okay, now what will happen when I'm going to import it? In which schema it will get import by default? When I'm going to import, where this t1 table will be import? Let me do one thing. Let me drop this table. How to drop table?
Drop table.
Drop table u1 dot t1. It's dropped. Done. If I am maybe, let me drop this table also. Drop table. If I am having any table here, u2 dot t1. If I am having, I don't know. It's not there anyway. Now what I want to do, when I'm importing it, I want to import under u2. Is it clear now? So tell me what I need to do now. Here, which command? impdp. What I want to import? u1.t1. Where is it available? Under this directory. What is the dump file name? This dump file only. What is the log file name? Log file name I'll change it to import imp underscore. But I don't want to import here. Where I want to import? Remap underscore schema. What is my schema?
U2.T1.
Remap underscore schema. Then I'll mention u1 colon u2. Clear now? Are you clear or not?
Yes.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now where this t1 table will be imported?
Under U2 stream.
Under
In
u2.
U2 schema.
There are some dependent objects are there, I think. Object table u2 processing object failed to create with error. No privileges on table space. Achha, table space also I need to give him privileges. Okay, let me give u2 user u2 user default table space is, what is the default table space?
Users.
Select username default underscore table space users where username equals to u2 users only na. No privileges on users. Okay, I don't have privileges. Grant unlimited table space. What I'm doing, I'm giving u2 user permissions. Default table space is users only, but maybe he is not having access to use that user table space. So I'll just run this command again. /s sysdb. Let's see what will happen now. I told you na, when you are doing import, that time table space will be used. Remember? So in that table space you should have access. Can you see now where it is getting imported? U2.
Every
Clear?
time we need to use username as the sysdba
What you said?
while importing or exporting. Every time we need to log in as sysdba.
Every time you need to log in and
Sysdba.
sysdb only, correct? You are a DB, na? You need to use sysdb only.
No ordinary user can do this exporting.
Is it done? So where I can see this T1 user now, T1 table now under
After you do.
U2. So basically I have changed my schema. Okay, what if I want to change my table space? I'll give one example. Okay, let's take an example. This is my production, which is my source from where I'm going to take the backup. So I'm taking the backup of U2 user who is having the default table space as users. So this is a, I'm taking the backup of the schema and this is my default table space. Any confusion here? Any confusion here till now?
No. No.
Now when I'm importing it, U2 user will be created, correct? U2 user will be created, but this U2 user should not store his data under user table space. He should store his data under another table space with the name TBS1. So basically I'm changing the table space from users to TBS1. The question is clear? I'm changing
Yes.
user table space to TBS1. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what
Yes.
I'm going to use when I'm going to change the table space, I'll mention like remap underscore table space equals to old table space, new table space, just like a remap schema, old table space to new table space. Is it clear? Okay, when you are going to use this export or import?
Import.
Import time.
Huh?
Import time.
Import, sir.
Import or export?
Import, import.
You are going to use it under import. Clear na?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? One more scenario. Let's say on my source side, my table name is EMP. In my destination side, I want to change my table name from EMP to EMP2. I want to change the name. Schema is same. U1.emp, U1.emp2 I want to do. I'm changing the name of my
Table name.
table. So old name is EMP, new name is EMP2. Clear? For that I need to use remap underscore table. When you are going to use import or export? Import.
Import.
Clear na? Clear? Yes, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Uh, One more scenario is there. Someone was asking the questions. Uh, the scenario is like, let's say I want to take the backup of schema. Okay, schema backup I want to take. Schema is of size 100 GB. So usually you will have a dump file. Let's say you have a slash data mount point where you have created backup folder. Here, how much space you required to create a dump file? How much space you require? 100 GB.
Minimum
100
100
GB.
GB, sir.
Now the situation is that um, here you have something around 50 GB free space available, and you have one more drive is there called slash user 1. Here you have some 50 GB space is available. Did you understand? 50 GB here, 50 GB here. You do not have space available in the single mount point. Basically, you want to distribute your dump file half up here, half up the here. The question is clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear na?
Yes.
Question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before this, before the solution, I'll give you one example. I'll tell you one more example. See, sometimes you want to increase the performance of your export job. Okay. So whenever you want to increase the performance of your export job, you can use a parallel mechanism. In parallel mechanism, what will happen? The number of worker process will be created. The number of worker process. Normally, what happens when you are running the export job, a master table will be created. That master table will create number of worker. Number of worker means the people who are going to actually do the export. So worker number 1, worker number 2, worker number 3. By default, only one worker will be created. Means one person will take the backup. Now I am in a situation where I want to create multiple worker. I don't want to create one worker only. Multiple worker I want to create. Okay. So when you want to create a multiple worker, okay, when you want to create multiple worker, you need to run this job parallelly. Let's say there is one person is working, so he is taking 100 minutes to complete the work. Now 10% are working, so how much time it will take? 10 minutes,
10
right?
minutes.
Correct. So basically I want to increase the parallelism means number of people will work together. So in that case, what we will do, same example, let's say I'm using export command. I'll just mention parallel equals to parallel equals to 4. You can mention the parallel equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending upon the number of cores available in your server. Number of cores. How to check number of core in Linux and proc. I have not checked me anytime, but let me check that. So even I'm running this command and proc, how many cores are available in my server? 3. It means max to max 3 jobs are running parallelly. Okay, like someone will run SQL command, someone will run rman job, someone will run different, right? And uh, if I'm mentioning more number of parallel process, the above example, if I'm using more number of parallel, it will not increase the performance, it will decrease the performance. So I'm mentioning parallel equals to 2 now, or 3 I will mention. Instead of taking the table backup, I'll take schema level backup. So I'll mention schemas so that 2 tables will be backed up like this. And let me insert some more records also under this schema. I'll go here and I'm going to insert some data because I want more dump files. Export oracle underscore pdb underscore sid equals to pdb prime sql plus slash as sysdb. Select star from, sorry, insert into u1.t1. Select star from u1.t1. I'm inserting more records. Why? I don't have. I think we changed it, right? Insert into u2.t1. I got table space issues. What I need to do if I get the table space issues?
You can resize that data file.
Hmm?
Can add
Alter
new data
table
file and resize the data.
table space name, add data file. Let me add a data file. user03.dbf size
That will be the
5 GB. Let me insert some record. Okay, it's taking time because so many records are there, no? Okay, let it complete. Commit also fine. So what I will do, okay, I'm coming back to our previous concept. When I'm mentioning parallel equals to 3, it means there are 3 worker process which will take the backup. By default, one worker process will be there, but I'm mentioning parallel equals to 3 now. It means your job will be executed quickly. Okay. How many dump file will be created? It can create multiple dump now. We don't know how many dump file will be created. It can create 1 dump, 2 dump, 3 dump. Depends the size of your schema. So what I will do, when it will create multiple dump, you need to change the name of your dump file. So I'll mention percentage u here. When you say percentage u, it will be like remap underscore schema underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3. If it is creating 3 dump, percentage u will be replaced with 1, 2 and 3. Clear? Press enter slash as sysdba and let's enter. So parallel options will refer to the parallelism. If you want to increase the performance of your export job, you can increase parallel equals to 3, 4, 5, but don't increase more than, because see, let's say if we have 3 CPUs are available, and if you're giving parallel equals to 10, 3 CPUs cannot work for 10 process, right? So it will not increase the performance, it will decrease the performance. So normally what we do in the real-time production environment, we start using the 2, we see the performance, then 3, see the performance, 4, just like a trial and error. And as soon as you see that my performance is getting increased, you can add the number of parallel. But when you're increasing the number of parallel, it may impact to other jobs also. So don't increase so that the other people will not get the space. Okay, can you see how many dumps has been created? As of now 3. What is the name of dump? 1, 2 and 3. Why this 1, 2, 3 is coming? Because of that percentage u I have mentioned here. And if I am not mentioning percentage u, what will happen? What will happen? Single dump will be created. But when you have multiple people are there, multiple dumps may get created. You got my point, everyone?
Yes, sir.
so sir, if parallel is equal to 3 and we are not specified percentage u, then it will be only one file.
Correct. Correct. If you are not mentioning the, again, then the job will be slow, na? That's the problem. If you are not mentioning parallel, your job will be running very slow.
We are mentioning parallel, right? But we
Correct.
are not mentioning the u, percentage u.
Percentage you are mentioning because parallel will create multiple dump, and you, and when it is creating multiple dump, you need to give separate name to the dump file.
So if we not specify
You will
percentage u,
get
then
error
it will.
message. Okay, you will get the error message saying that dump file is already exist. There is one more thing, there is one more parameter is there, we called it as a file size parameter. See, many parameters are there in the export import, I'm telling you, many, but taking those parameters which are important and frequently asked in the interview. There is a parameter called file size. See, let's say my schema size is around 100 GB. So there is a chances that it may create 100 GB of dump, right? So normally we import this dump to different server also. So you need to move this dump from one server to another server. Whenever you are moving this dump from one Linux server to another Linux server, this network can block your dump because of high size, because of high utilization. Because if it is a large size dump file, your network team will not allow you to move the dump from one Linux server to another Linux server. Let's say they have a bandwidth of 10 GB only. So basically you need to create a dump in a such way that maximum 10 GB of dump will be created. And how many pieces will be created then? 10 pieces will be created. So how you can create a maximum size of dump which is of 10 GB? I'm just giving a rough number, okay? That is possible with the help of your parameter called file size. If you see my dump here, let me show you any one of the dump which is created. See, if I'm not using any parameter, I'll give one example. Let me remove this parallel parameter, and percentage u also I'll remove. I'll just add here something like 3 or let's say 5. Remap underscore schema 5 slash sysdb. So I'm taking the backup of my u1 schema without any filter. Okay, first of all I will check what is the size of dump will be created. Let's say the size of dump will be 500 MB, but I don't have bandwidth to move this 500 MB of dump from one Linux server to another Linux server. Usually when you want to move a file from one Linux server to another Linux server, we use scp command. What command? Scp. I'll discuss about the scp command in future, how to move a file from one Linux server to another Linux server, but we normally use scp command. So when you're moving a file from one server to another server, uh, there will be a restriction that you cannot move a very large file or big file you cannot move. So that time you try to minimize the size of your dump, or you try to create a dump in a such way that maximum dump file size will be, let's say, 100 MB. So let me check the size of my dump first. What is the size of dump it is creating? Now it is taking time to take the backup because we have so many records are available. That is the reason I have inserted multiple records so that the big dump will be created. du-sh. If I want to check the size of file, it is in KB only, man. So I need to insert again some record. I need in at least MB. Can you see the size here? 344 KB only.
I think in previous command you put schemas is equal to u1.t1. That's why it says 10 rows only. It should be u2, right?
Is it? Correct.
Schemas is equal to u. Yeah.
Correct. My bad. You do. Correct only. Here we are inserting in U2, and when you are taking the export, that time we mention U1. I'm tired now. I need some rest. Invalid document, dump file, log file. Invalid already exists now, so I need to give some name different. U2 underscore 1. You can give some meaningful name. Normally the request number we provide here. File size parameter. What else we need to see? Remap is done. Datapump. There is one more parameter is there. See, sometime what happened, like when you're importing, that time you will find that the table is already exist. Let's say you are trying to import u1.t1, and wherever you are importing, that t1 table is already exist, and rest of the tables are not exist. Let's say you are taking the backup of schema you are trying to import. So here the thing is, I'm not able to type. Array, what happened here? Okay. Let's say you have this schema is there u1. Here we have t1, t2, t3. These tables are there, or t4 tables are there. When you are importing it, okay, when you are importing it, t1, t2, t3 and t4s are there. When you are importing it, that time we have observed that this t1 table is already exist when you are importing it. So what you will do if the table is already exist? So there is a parameter called table exist action. This parameter is there, table exist action. In that parameter there are 4 options are there. Skip. What is mean by skip? What is mean by skip? What it will do?
It will drop.
Just have the table one.
If
If
it
the
is
table is
exist, then
already
do not.
exist, it will skip it, right? It will not import that. Append. What is append?
We will add the
It
record.
will
Will add the
add
record.
the records.
Truncate. Truncate means the existing table, it will truncate it. Truncate means it will delete all the records from the existing table and it will re-import it. You got my point?
Okay.
You got my point, everyone?
Yes, sir.
And what
Yes.
about replace? It will like overwrite. Correct, na? It will like overwrite. So these 4 options are there. Okay. We can use this parameter in import or export.
Import.
Import.
In import, because when you're importing it, that time you got the issue. Clear na? So how
But
to
what is
use
the
that? I have
So what
mentioned.
is the difference between a truncate
Which one?
and replace?
Truncate and replace. See, let's say I'm already having a table. Let's say I'm already having a table which is having three columns: ID, name, and salary. Okay. Here, 1000 records are there. 1000 records are there. If I use truncate, what it will do? It will delete all the records from here, but the table will be there. You got my point? It will delete the rows, not table. It will delete all the records and it will insert that. Replace, what it will do? Replace, it will delete the complete table. It will drop the table factually.
Yes.
It will drop the table and then it will import it. I'll give you an example. Let's say while importing it, you have four columns are there: ID, name, salary, and let's say PAN card. While importing it, so does your append will work? Will it work, your append? Work or not?
No, because there are three column and there is four.
Here we have existing three columns, but I'm importing four columns. Append will work?
No, sir.
No.
No.
No, do not.
Skip will work? Skip, so directly skip it will do, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Truncate?
No. No.
Truncate also? No. Why?
Please
Because
hold.
when you are trying to import four columns, na, here you see three columns only.
Yes, sir.
What about replace?
It's a
Yes.
drop the existing table and
It will drop the existing table and it will import it as a four column. Clear, na?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that time we use replace. Now here I'm coming back to the parallel options. Here if I see my dump file size is du-sh. What is the dump file size? 196 MB. I don't want 196 MB dump file. I will restrict that. So I'll mention file size equals to, let's say, 30 M. But it will create multiple dump now, right? Because you're restricting, na? So I'll mention percentage u. Is it clear? Any confusion here?
No, sir. All clear.
No.
So how many dumps will be created? Around
Seven.
7 or 8. But see, it can create 7 also, 8 also, 9 also. But the maximum size of dump will be 30 MB.
30.
Okay. And while you are importing, you need to specify all these dump. Maybe I need to travel next week for my hometown. Okay. It's not confirmed yet, but just telling you the heads up. Okay. So meanwhile, whatever things we discuss, please go through that. Okay, because we need this concept again in future also, for our future concept, like your um, Arman we can start tomorrow. So Arman will be done mostly. Then you required it for data guard, ASM, patching, upgradation, for all these things. I'll try to I'll try to connect from my hometown also, but I'm not sure whether the internet will help me. Usually there is a problem in my hometown specific to the internet. It will not work. Um, but let's see. Okay, let's not confirm it.
That people only expert in IT. Those who have hometown internet issue.
But sometimes I feel like it's good that I don't have internet in my hometown, because at least I'll be away from all these calls, these trainings, and usually I travel just to take some peace. आदमी को जरा शांति चाहिए, तो शांति के लिए जाता है आदमी. If it is there, then again this I'll not feel like I'm there. Usually, whenever I feel frustrating, na, that time I'll go there.
Where is it?
The real peace is available. You will feel the peace in your hometown only, where your parents are there. More than parents, your friends are there. We stay here in Pune or maybe in metro city. Here, everyone is behind the money only. Everyone is thinking about how can I get something from this person. But there, things are like जितना आ रहा है उतना चलने दो. Correct na? Are you guys agree with me?
Yes, sir, you can read Tukoba's bunks too to get this.
I see, like, in my hometown everyone is sleeping by 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, in the night, 9 o'clock they are sleeping, and morning 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock they are waking up. Here in Pune, normally I usually sleep by 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Yesterday night also I slept by 2, I think 2 or 2:30. Money is there, but again, peace is not there. Fine. Can you see here? What is the size of dump? If you go here, if you do du hyphen sh, if I say star na, I'll get the size of each and every dump. But what is the maximum size of dump you can see here? 30 MB. Can you see? Clear now, everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What else? And I was talking about one more parameter. Multi. क्या बोलते हैं उसको यार? This is the block I'm talking about. Whenever you want to take the dump to multiple directories, why I'm taking it to the multiple directories? Why I'm taking it to the multiple directories? Because I
Because
do
don't
not
have
have a space
sufficient
available,
space.
space issue. So what you can do, you can mention like this. You can mention directory equals to dir, and this dir is pointing to, I'll give you an example. Sorry. You can mention like this: dump file equals to two directories I am mentioning here. Dump file equals to dir, which is my first directory, comma second directory. So in my first directory also will dump will go, and second directory also dump will go. This is my dir, which is my first directory, and this is my dir2, which is my second directory. You got my point? So in the dump file you can mention two directory name. Dump file equals to first directory, comma second directory, and this is a dump file name. I need to use parallel option also. Why I'm using parallel options? Why I'm using parallel options? Why I'm using
Make
parallel
it,
options?
make it fast.
Because it will create
Okay.
multiple dumps in multiple directories. Okay, I'm using this parameter in export or import.
Import.
Export also,
Export.
import also. Let's say my dumps are available in multiple directories. So you need to import it from multiple directories, na? You got my point?
Yeah.
When you are importing it, that time you need to specify where my dump is available. My dump is available in the first directory and in the second directory. So you need to use it in export also and import also. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the different parameters are there in your export and import. Okay. So
Sir, one small question.
yes.
This mean not related to this topic, but table space. See, production table space will increase, right? At the time in DR situation, the DR already we do have DR in your environment, right? So we have to do manually on DR side, right? That those table space increment and all.
Regularly, what we need to do?
Regularly production.
Yeah, regularly, what we need to do? What do you say?
That regularly we are doing some changes, right, in table space on production. The production having DR part, right, in real
Okay.
environment. So at the time of DR, we cannot uh, uh, suspect that when DR will happen, right? So what is the prerequisite or what is the situation or solution to same reflect table space in DR? Do we need to do it manually or how
No,
it
no,
is?
no. If you add a data file to the primary server, the data file will be automatically get added to the standby server automatically.
Sync, right?
For that, there is a parameter called standby file management equals to auto. That option is available. Standby file management equals to. This parameter is available in data guard environment.
Okay.
And when we see the data guard there, I will explain that. Okay.
Okay.
But for now, if you add a data file in primary side, it will be added to standby side automatically. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
If that parameter is enabled. Fine guys. Okay. Let's connect tomorrow and we'll see the RMAN from tomorrow.
Ankush sir, I
Yes.
have one question.
Yes.
Um, can we use the where clause in the export? If I want to export only particular
You
rows,
can
can
use
we use that?
query parameter. You can use query parameter. Let me
Okay.
show you one example. This is a query parameter. If you use query parameter, what this query parameter is saying? In this table where id equals to 0, it means I have a table. In that table, I want to export only the data which is having id equals to 0. You got my point?
Yes. Yes.
Let's say I have a table is there with information about the, let's say, state code mentioned here and name is mentioned. So or state code or you can take the country code. Let's say I have some India data here, India data, then China data, USA data, and some other country data. I want to export only India data. Just take example. Here 1000 mention, here 2000 mention, here 3000 mention. So you can mention in the query parameter where country code equals to 1000. So only this data will be export. How it is possible? With the help of query parameter.
Sir, can we exclude the column?
Can we exclude the column? If you don't want to take the backup of column, you are saying, right?
Yeah.
Can we exclude the column also? How to exclude? I think you can run select command directly. Column in expdp. He's saying to create a view. He's saying to create a view only. Certain table you can use. Hmm. So directly there is no parameter available, but you can create a new table only from there. Like create table as whatever columns you want to back up. So there is no specific parameter is not available. But what you can do, you can create a new table. Like let's say here 3 columns are available in my existing table. So you can say create table. Let's say new table name. Select and whatever column you want, column number 1, column number 2 from older table, and then you can take the backup of this new table. But specific parameter is not available, only jugadu kam is there. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye bye.